An evaluation of the opening days of Governor Henry Seriake Dickson's leadership in Bayelsa State will obviously connect with four key words in the memorable quote: vision, idealism, right values and inspiration. And to be sure, these are critical leadership values necessary to properly drive the levers of government right now in a state that require a realistic and meticulous restructuring of a structure of government to deliver on democratic dividends to our people. With the chaotic scenario inherited, where the vital structures of government were largely abused and enmeshed in corruption and gross inefficiency, the new administration in the last 3 months has been in terrific pace to do other things, reforming and transforming the apparatus of government and institutions to steer the state from the ruinous course set by the immediate past administration to an acceptable standard. Essentially, Governor Seriake Dickson has been redefining a people-centered government which could function efficiently with a particular attention to the realization of his campaign promises and fostering new possibilities in development.
To you, my good people of Bayelsa, who have voted for change and restoration, although campaign across the length and breadth of this state, sending the message of restoration, which you have voted for, let me use a few moments to summarize the essence, the cardinal principles of the restoration agenda. We shall undertake fundamental reforms of the governance culture to emphasize transparency, accountability, due process, value orientation by all institutions of state and functionaries of the government, beginning with my humble self. For emphasis, there shall be zero tolerance for corruption under this administration.
Thank you. Thank you.
The days of enrichment of a few without labor and funding of the greed and avarice of a few at the expense of the development of our people, those days are over for good.
We have the same aspirations for the people of Bayelsa State. We all talk of moral accountability in the governance of our people. We will not necessarily have the same background. By application, it's not possible to have the same approach. But at the end, I think our goals are the same. How do we bring change to the life of the people of Bayelsa State?
For the 2 months or so that I have interacted with him, I see him as one who is on a mission, one who has been ordained by God to restore the hopes, aspirations, and the dreams of the founding fathers of this state, and all men and women of goodwill of Bayelsa State.
When we talk of restoration in politics, we mean that we are not meeting up, we have lost time, we have lost money, we have lost energy, and we've lost our chances to develop the state.
The restoration agenda that the present government led by Honorable Seriake Dickson has, the governor of the state, it is to refocus development. It is to bring pride and glory to the John nation. It's to reposition the John nation to the world.
Of course, by now, many people in the state and across the country know that a new and rising paradigm is taking root, especially in the public service, which effectively strikes a chord with the essentials of Governor Dickson's leadership vision. This vision is an ambitious template which would ensure an impressive stewardship that satisfies the basic, broad interests of the people of Bayelsa State, creating great economic opportunities as well as making a beautiful statement in infrastructural development. All these are anchored on Dickson's burning zeal to leave an enduring legacy of creative and responsible government that could make Bayelsa State the third most developed state in Nigeria in the next 10 years. This is a remarkable end that is already rousing the people to the reality that a new dawn of hope and possibilities is here in our land. Yet, we can better appreciate his sincerity when we put his beliefs and convictions on the unfolding developments in the state into context, like matching words with action, especially on the need for renewal by stamping out corruption and entrenching accountability. No doubt, these are fundamental issues in a quest for greater glory in the glory of all lands. Reallocating our values to align with our goal of redemption from our self-inflicted tragedy of mismanagement as witnessed in the recent past. Governor Dickson's refrain since assumption of office has been that, and I quote, "We just have to break away from the past if we must rediscover our mission and fulfill it," unquote. This optimism is further predicated on the architecture of a policy terrain now woven around courageous and progressive decisions, which have also institutionalized some very promising legislations and pronouncements necessary to run an integrated agenda for the common good. The various laws and policy pronouncements now being implemented across the state are also instructive, and they come with great benefits to the people who are appreciative. No doubt, emerging parameters of government are clear indications that the destiny of our state is safe in the governor's hands.
For you to set up a winning team, a team to deliver on the dividends of democracy, takes you time. You must also look at the geopolitics of the state. You must look at all the balancing, professionalism, capacity. And if you must put the right persons in the right places, then it's not something you rush over or you gloss over. And so the governor took his time to ensure that the right people are put in the right place.
This government, unlike any other before it, has taken tough measures to strengthen its fight against all forms of graft in the system. It is no longer news that it inherited an empty state account with a huge debt profile that seemed to have mortgaged the future of the state. Promptly, government took steps to boldly confront these issues by setting up Bayelsa State Financial Management Review Committee to ascertain the state's actual level of indebtedness, assets, and liabilities. The committee is composed of eminent financial experts with varied experience in banking, accounting, and auditing. The committee has since submitted its report. The report revealed very shocking discoveries of fraudulent practices and abuse of office. As part of the committee's findings, the immediate past administration left a huge debt burden of 207.2 billion naira, in spite of the fact that a whopping 660.45 billion naira accrued to the state from the Federation account in the past 5 years that Silva held sway. Government is carefully studying the report.
It is rather sad that with our population, we pay more on salaries and overhead than other states. That alone tells you something's wrong. You don't need a soothsayer. You don't need a crystal ball. You have population to a large extent determines salaries and overhead, but we are paid, so something is wrong. Perfect. How do we go about it? We are told that the previous administration started something. They couldn't finish. They didn't finish it. But again, when you are doing these type of things, you don't have to be looking at faces. You don't have to look at the person's face. You look at the issues involved. The issue involved is that wastages have been so much in this state. How do we stop these wastages?
Civil society groups and also anti-corruption group, we are always yearning for the government of our state to be transparent, and the governor coming on board, what actually attracted us is his expression that is interested in anti-corruption issues, and to further demonstrate that actually is interested, he has gone ahead to pass the BAT bill.
The destination of all this is good governance and accountability. Interestingly, Governor Dickson, a legislator, through deliberate state policy, has brought about innovations in a governance culture of Bayelsa State. This is in pursuant to the fulfillment of promises earlier made, which have resulted in the quick passage of the following bills in just 3 months in office. Bayelsa Agency for the Control of HIV and AIDS Establishment Bill 2012. Bayelsa State Government and Local Government Compulsory Savings Bill 2012. Bayelsa Thanksgiving Day Bill 2012. Others are Local Government Amendment Law 2012, Bayelsa State Income and Expenditure Transparency Bill 2012, Bayelsa State Fiscal Responsibility Amendment Bill 2012, and the Secret Calls Prohibition Law 2012.
What is it about saying this is how much we got this month and this is how we expended it? I mean, because you are holding and trust the people's money, and the people have a right to know. The people have a right to know. And morally, you are bound to tell the people what you got and how you expended it. So I think that if at the federal level, monthly allocations are published, such that state governments know how much came to their states, local governments know how much came to their local governments. Then the governor, in his transparency restoration agenda, decided every month to tell Bayelsans this is how much that came. In fact, it's a good example, and I suppose that local government chairmen should celebrate this new law. Yes.
Those aspects of wanting to punish corrupt officers in government and passing the BAT bill, and also publishing the amount that they are receiving from the federation accounts, and going into the IGR of the state because up until now, we don't, it's like as if in our budget, we've been involved in budget analysis of previous budget for Bayelsa State, and the IGR is almost nothing there, whereas we have things. So for the government to start to get involved in trying to bring these things out from wherever they were being embezzled is something that we really commend, and we hope that it will continue.
The Transparency Initiative Bill has already been passed into law. The purpose of the law is to make it obligatory for all tiers of government, state and local governments, to publicly declare to Bayelsans all revenues that accrue to them, as well as summary of expenditures. Evidently, this is a promise fulfilled. Governor Dickson had said during his campaign and at his inauguration that this is a crucial issue he will tackle, stating that, and I quote, "On transparency, we believe it is the right of the people of a state to know what funds accrue to the coffers of a state and the various local government councils and how they are utilized. This is the only way to secure the trust and confidence of the people in whom sovereignty lies. I have directed all local government chairmen to comply with these paradigm shift on the issue of transparency, probity and accountability to reflect the new Bayelsa that we are building." Unquote. This is salutary because openness is indispensable if democracy must be meaningful in real terms, thereby subjecting the political system to proofs of accountability of stewardship.
Now, it is no longer news that we inherited an empty treasury with very huge debt profile. And I've seen the assumption of office refrain from guessing how much that debt profile is. And as we are aware, that was what informed the setting up of the panel of very eminent and professionally sound, respected senior citizens of the state, led by Chief Executive Library, who are presently reviewing management of the finances of this state from 2007 till when I took over. That exercise is ongoing, and our view is that at the end of that exercise, I will again address the people of this state to let them know the real facts and figures so that we can all think of the way forward. But the truth is that we, apart from inheriting very heavy and intimidating debt portfolio, we actually inherited an empty treasury. And that is the way it is. And the people of this state, therefore, from today, will be briefed regularly. Not all the time by me as governor, but I will cause to be briefed. People of the state will be regularly briefed by officials of my government on the expenditures as well as the income going forward.
Since assumption of office, the Dickson-led administration has taken concrete steps to implement a new regime of prudence in public expenditure, which is a cardinal principle of a state's financial management. It is a measure taken seriously by government. Within 1 month of assumption of office, the governor reduced government house expenses by over 1 billion naira instead of the 1.7 billion naira previously expended monthly. He has also been courageous in reducing salaries and allowances of all appointees, beginning with himself, by 15%. Furthermore, he cancelled an ISPO of 300 million naira monthly initiated by the previous administration, which had milked the state of over 32 billion naira before the court order which the government secured to stop the deductions. More importantly, the government had taken the bold initiative to institutionalize the culture of savings in government. 2 separate strategic bank accounts were created. The first is the Bayelsa State Strategic Development Project account. This account is dedicated to funding strategic investments in infrastructural development, agriculture, tourism, education, health and security. The target is to build up these reserves to enable the award of contracts in compliance with relevant laws like Fiscal Responsibility Act, which requires that contractual commitments by government should have adequate funding provided. Within 2 months, the account has a balance of over 23 billion naira. The second account is a Bayelsa State Strategic Reserve and Savings account. As the name implies, this account is an interest-yielding account dedicated to providing savings for the rainy day, a form of stabilization account for the state's economy in the event of any unforeseen shock. The Bayelsa State Compulsory Savings Bill 2012, also passed by the State House of Assembly, made it mandatory for the state to make savings in this account. By the provisions of the proposed bill, funds in the account cannot be accessed by anybody except for specific purposes and only with third approval of a State House of Assembly. There is also a proposed State Reserve Funds Management Council to be composed of persons of proven integrity, which will advise government on the management of this fund.
Bayelsa today has only a monoproduct economy, an economy that is driven by the fact we generate from the federal government through the oil production that we have in the state. Now, Bayelsa cannot continue to remain in this kind of economy because any fluctuation in the prices of crude oil affects FAC and affects the state. So to change the current texture of our economy is the reason why the governor is saying the private sector will drive the development of the economy of Bayelsa State. And to do that, the only way that can happen is to encourage private investment to come into the state. Now, for private investment to come into the state, the governor is saying, and this administration is saying, we will encourage and put all the necessary ingredients that would attract investment into the state. And that starts with first putting the institutional framework in place. Today, if you see, in these first few days that this administration has been in existence, the governor has sent certain bills that would help create the institutional framework that would encourage investment.
He has opened 2 accounts. One is a compulsory savings account that you can only accept with 2/3 approval by the House of Assembly. The other one is a project account. I'm sure by this month he must have saved up to 30 billion.
Now, look at it. It was because of this transparency initiative that you can log into our website and you begin to see how much money we are saving. And you'll see that he himself cannot reach those funds except 2/3 of the house. And there must be genuine reasons why he must access those funds. Formally, after allocations come like this, we find ourselves taking overdrafts in bank. Right now, it is banks that are paying us interest now. So it will be taken down to the 3rd tier of government. It will. That saving culture must be there.
Conscious of its promise to deliver on the restoration agenda, which is firmly rooted in probity, transparency, accountability, and with value reorientation, government has reorganized the governance structure in the state with the creation and reorganization of ministries and parastatals. This is to ensure effective policy formulation and implementation. The administration has repeatedly expressed grave concern about the high cost of running government, particularly the unbearable monthly wage bill, which stood at 5.7 billion naira upon assumption of office. which is only second to Lagos State in the country. Accordingly, government took concrete steps to address this problem by evolving measures aimed at drastically cutting down on the huge wage bill. The exercise has started to yield dividends. As at April 2012, the state has witnessed a drastic reduction of the wage bill from the initial almost 6 billion to 3.6 billion naira. Even then, the verification process to ascertain and weed out ghost workers from the civil service is ongoing, and it is believed that at the end of the verification exercise, the wage bill will be further pruned down. The measures put in place by government have exposed the involvement of some highly placed officials in the Treasury Department who were members of a syndicate behind the wage scam. Already, some of the culprits have been arrested and have been charged to court.
So I want to call on all civil servants to be ready to work. His Excellency has promised that all those who are ready to work will get the best from his administration. He doesn't want to see civil servants who are not responsible, who are not disciplined. And that's why I think he's also carrying out this exercise of trying to weed out people who are not helping the civil service. There are few people who are running us down in the public service, not necessarily civil service. So I want to call on all those who are also pulling us down, in the face of government, to desist from their wrong behavior.
Maybe people are covering some people that are going to school and then they are taking salary, which the law is so clear, because if you leave for school, either you are going in for in-service or study leave without pay. It's there. So if you cover somebody and you allow the person to be taking salary, you that you are the person or the head of department or the director will have to suffer for it. Query will have to come to you. So what you need to do is to expose the person, or you will suffer with the person.
The discoveries are to a very large extent very disturbing and very unpleasant. But it's too early in the day to say whether we are making progress in that respect or not. But preliminary reports that we have received indicate that at least the wage bill in some of the ministry, departments and agencies is coming down gradually. We are hoping that at the end of the exercise there will be some considerable reduction in the wage bill.
A crucial sector that is priority to the administration of Governor Henry Seriake Dickson's administration is education. Upon assumption of office on the 14th of February 2012, the state governor declared a state of emergency in the education subsector, and he went further to declare free and compulsory primary and secondary education. Activities are in top gear to ensure flawless implementation of this scheme. Already, the state government has fully paid the WAEC and NACO examination fees for 25,772 candidates, totaling 250 million naira. Also, massive infrastructural development in all primary and secondary schools will commence soon. To complement these efforts, a deliberate policy of training and retraining of teachers to increase their productivity is being accorded priority attention. To actualize this objective, the Institute for Training of Teachers, sited in Sagbama, is being renovated for immediate takeoff. Furthermore, the Government Science and Technical College at Oloibiri has also been inspected, and plans are underway for the restructuring and revitalization of the technical college. It will be a citadel of excellence in lower level skills acquisition in Bayelsa State. It is being considered as an integral part of government's integrated scheme for massive job creation by empowering young people to be self-employed. An executive bill for the re-establishment of a College of Arts and Science in the state has also been sent to the Bayelsa State House of Assembly for accelerated action. Government has also paid for a 10-year education sector strategic plan. This plan was drawn up in collaboration with UNESCO. It will constitute a major document that will guide educational development in the state.
The most important thing we are going to do for people to see that we are really serious with free education is educational facilities, infrastructure. I'm talking about accommodation, buildings. Buildings must be on ground, the classrooms to accommodate the teeming students, and then even staff quarters. And so we have started to embark on the building of these projects, model primary schools, model secondary schools in all the 8 local government areas. And not only that, we are also building teacher training and retraining centers. Because we want to get qualitative education, you must train your teachers. Your teachers must be qualitative also. These are teachers that are already teaching, who you are going to train.
Now, we have had talks, myself and the commissioner, on how we can develop and improve and sustain the e-governance structure which we are going to build in collaboration with the commissioner. We have already started having talks and started sending correspondence to the international community because they are very interested whenever any government is interested in building capacity of children. Now, we are yet to get the final response from them on how they can come down and do a presentation on the collaboration pathways, to finally establish our action plans. So that is on the process.
We would also be talking about education and health. These are 2 areas where the government has made serious investments and will continue to make investments. The whole essence of that savings is to ensure that we have returns which we can use to easily fund our education programs and not have to rely on facts.
Consultants have been commissioned to prepare the design of the model schools in the state. 2 model primary schools and 2 model secondary schools per local government area have been earmarked for construction. Contracts for the building of the model schools will be awarded in the next couple of weeks. Education will continue to enjoy a pride of place in a government's scale of preference, and this is understandable, having encountered tough challenges in his early years at a school which never stopped him from acquiring a law degree. Governor Dickson believes strongly that education is a basic tool for development.
They are going to be fed. They will not pay anything. We are going to supply all the textbooks, exercise books, teaching materials, instructional materials will be provided in full for the teachers. Of course, any teacher who is not equal to the standard is going to be shown the way out. Because if you want to teach, if you want to get qualitative education, your teachers must be prepared to face challenges.
Upon assumption of office, Governor Dickson made it clear that there will be zero tolerance for all forms of crime and criminality. He consequently took steps to squarely address the issues by forwarding a bill on Bayelsa State Secret Cult and Kidnapping and Similar Offences Prohibition Bill 2012 to the State House of Assembly for consideration. This is to ensure that we curtail the nefarious activities of few criminally minded elements that engaged in the menace of cultism and kidnapping and guarantee security of lives, peace, harmony, and investment security in Bayelsa State. By the signing of a Secret Cults Prohibition Law 2012, all cult groups in the state have been proscribed, and anybody convicted thereafter will serve a 10 years imprisonment without an option of fine. Landlords who allow their buildings to be used for meetings by cultists will, on conviction, forfeit such buildings to the state. The bill has since been passed into law. The state has also invested heavily in security enhancements in the form of technology and intelligence gathering to ensure that Bayelsa State is adequately secured and policed.
I proclaim a zero-tolerance policy on crime, criminality, cultism, and violence. We must, as a government, work with you all to create an enabling, peaceful environment, which will bring about economic turnaround, which will bring tourism, because we want to focus on tourism. We want this place to be safe enough for visitors to come.
There has been a very significant improvement in the security situation since we came on board. I've always said that Bayelsa, the security challenges with Bayelsa is not more than what we have in other states. But yes, Bayelsa has its own peculiar security challenges. Like you rightly said, cultism, street violence before we came in, piracy in our waterways, illegal bunkering, illegal refineries. All of these are things we knew before we came in, and of course the governor, like I said, is putting the measures in place to ensure that these issues are dealt with squarely and fairly. In the course of our meetings, of course, it was also agreed, suggested, that there should equally be a peace march, which was conducted after the Yenagua town hall sessions. When we came in, we made the statutory security agencies to understand the fact that this is a government that means what it has said to the people of Bayelsa, and the basis is zero tolerance for crime and criminality. And if this must be achieved, of course, they are high on the ladder to implement this policy.
We cannot also deny that the security situation in Bayelsa State has improved remarkably. I have heard that from several people. I have spent a couple of days time here and now in Yenagua, and you can sense even from feelers from ordinary people on the street that there's a new air of freedom. I think we need to situate the security situation in Bayelsa State in its right context. One, for a state that was for many years the epicenter of the legitimate aspiration of the Niger Delta people for a better deal, in the Nigerian nation, you should expect some residue, some kind of hangover effect from many years of militant agitation by our people for a better deal. That is not going to go away in a hurry. Having said that, the amnesty program of the federal government is doing its bit, and then there is no society that is completely bereft of criminal tendencies. But we are very confident and satisfied with the steps taken by the governor.
The key thing I have seen that the governor has done, he has brought peace into the state. The market women, they do their business freely. Go to Swale market. There's bubbling, people discuss. Even at this level, I can walk. Sometimes I close there 11 o'clock, 11 in the night. I was not afraid to go home. Unlike before. I was not afraid to go home.
This administration has concluded plans to implement the following strategic initiatives in 2012 to stimulate the state economy and increase employment opportunities. In this regard, it has forwarded a bill on privatization and commercialization to provide the legal backing for its engagement with the organized private sector in fostering sustained economic growth. Furthermore, the state government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Bank of Industry to promote small and medium-scale enterprises. This agreement is designed to open up opportunities for partnership, especially in areas of poverty alleviation, wealth creation and capacity building. The agreement, which is a counterpart funding of 2.5 billion naira, of which the state has already committed to pay 1 billion naira in the first instance. With the signing of this agreement, the state government and the Bank of Industries have gone into strategic partnership to create a roadmap to economic development. Governor Dickson stated that the present administration has put in so much to ensure a secure and stable environment because of its desire to attract investors to the state. The state is also fully set to partner with the federal government and the organized private sector to begin the development of its own deep sea port and a cargo airport that will employ a large number of teeming youths and create a gateway through the state that will ensure free flow of goods into the country, especially in the oil and gas industry. A number of other strategic economic development initiatives are pending for proper fine-tuning, which are designed to create economic opportunities for the people and uplift their living standard in short, medium, and long term.